Hi, my name is Emily and I'm at the Natural History Museum and I'm going to be taking you on one of the coolest exhibits here at the museum. Come on, let's go!
As you enter one of the amazing entrances of the Natural History Museum, you are welcomed with the real-life dinosaur display that captivates your eye. As you look around to find where you should start your experience in the museum, you can see the amazing detail on the wall of the planets and the constellations. As you look around the wall, you see one of the best entrances I have probably ever seen before, and it was going through the center of the sun to the volcano and earthquake exhibit. The earthquake exhibit is one of the most interesting exhibits in the museum because it uses interactive activities as a key aspect for children and adults to learn about earthquakes in an entertaining way. Once at the top, there is an interactive map showing the active volcanoes, large earthquakes, and plate boundaries on Earth that kids and adults could touch and play with. A visitor presses a button on the table and the map lights up with the locations with the corresponding button. As you continue on the pathway for the earthquake exhibit, the whole exhibition is a linear line beginning with volcanoes, plate tectonics, and ending with earthquakes. In the front of the earthquake exhibit is a big green sign with a brief introduction explaining the history of the exhibit. The exhibit is structured in a circular pathway for visitors to easily enjoy the whole exhibit without going back and forth as some museums tend to do. The earthquake exhibit is broken into 5 parts: how do earthquakes happen, where do they happen, measuring and predicting, earthquake simulator, and dangers after the quake. As you start the exhibit, the first display that entices the visitors is to build your own earthquake. The visitors automatically take the handle and crank the display to make an earthquake in an engaging way. Without reading the wall text, visitors can still understand the concepts of the exhibit with the interactions. I believe that this exhibit is more effective than other museums because the earthquake exhibit uses interactive displays as well as wall displays to educate all different types of learners. Participation in this exhibit is a must for visitors as there is multiple touchscreen quizzes and hands-on displays. The TV screen shows a live earthquake feed from the past 7 days displaying the larger the circle, the higher the earthquake's magnitude. Next to the live screen is an interactive screen that detects vibration in the ground caused by earthquakes. Guests can move the block around to show how the earthquakes are detected. At the end of the measuring and predicting section is an information screen with different tabs full of information about earthquakes. The best part of the earthquake exhibit is the earthquake simulator. The simulation displays an earthquake at the Kobe Market in Japan. A bunch of people could fill in the supermarket, hold on to the railings, and watch the TV screen as they experience an earthquake. The earthquake simulator gives a real-life experience with a range of different impact scales. The simulation takes about 40 seconds for each scenario as a group of people experience the earthquake can then continue with the exhibit or they can stay and experience more of the different ranges of earthquakes. This is the best way to learn about earthquakes when you do not live in an earthquake area, as some people may never experienced an actual earthquake. The Natural History Museum allows visitors to learn about earthquakes in a unique way compared to other museums. At the exit of the earthquake simulation, the next section is the danger after the quake. Although this exhibit is exciting and fun as it could be a playground for children, earthquakes are very dangerous and have serious consequences. This section uses different TV screens to show the aftermath of earthquakes in different parts of the world. People of all ages could sit down or stand around to observe the screens as they learn about the dangers of earthquakes. On the opposite side of the wall is an island with game screens with different scenarios where earthquakes can occur. The screen gives multiple choice questions depending on the scenario with information attached to different areas on the screen. Around the island display is an interactive structure of 2 different types of buildings with 2 buttons. The buttons correspond with each building, and once the buttons are pressed, the buildings shake as if there was an earthquake. this displays one building structure is stronger for earthquakes than the other building. For people who do not particularly like to have a hands-on experience, this exhibit also has pictures and encasings for viewers to observe items that are still interesting to learn about. Along the walls are visual pictures of the results of earthquakes, like landslides, liquefactions, and fires. There is also helpful visual encasings of necessary items for an emergency backpack and different types of findings lost in the earthquakes and items that rescue team use. As you exit the exhibit, there is a final interaction with a question on whether you have experienced an earthquake. This is a fun way to finish the exhibit with an effortless activity. Everyone can press the yes or no button and see the results of who has experienced an earthquake or not. Along the walls, you could read the stories from people around the world on their experiences of earthquakes. The earthquake exhibit has so many interactive activities that grasp your attention that you have never realized that you have spent a whole hour just inside one exhibit. These displays are a great way to get the visitors excited as they hear the sound effects from the simulation and get visuals of earthquake experiences. As this museum is catered to children, adults are also able to stroll around and participate with the children as well. These interactive displays are strategically placed around the exhibit so that visitors never lose interest in the exhibit. Visitors are allowed to play around as if the exhibit is a playground that brings education to people of all ages.